Good morning! I was up really late last night. It's because of these little sparkly things. Let me explain. Yes, I got caught up last night doing gum nuts, and I found myself up at midnight still doing these little gum nuts. And there's a couple of reasons I am doing these. Of course, it's coming up to Christmas time, but I'm actually doing these things for a little gift, but for a number of reasons. I just thought I'd share with you because it's always hard to find little gifts for the kids you've been teaching, and you do want to give them a little something. I like crafting, and this is actually very cathartic to do this sort of thing, doing gum nutting and glittering. If you've seen my video, I've got a tutorial on how to do this and how to get the gum nuts all ready. What I like to do with the gum nut as a gift for my kids that I teach, whether it be kids on Sundays or kids during the week that I teach, and also the other teachers and helpers that I work with. Some years I do give a little handmade gift like this if I have time. Not all the time, it's a busy time. But I just thought this year I actually have time. I had my gum nuts prepared and ready. But the reason I'm doing this is during the year I actually tell the parable of the sower. And you might have seen my video clip on that. Does anyone want to see what I brought today to class? Look in here. Look at that. Oh, does somebody want to come up and have a look? Well, this is another, pretty much we're revisiting that story with giving them this little gum nut at the end, is I actually teach it and just tell them a little bit about myself and my own personal story of faith. So what I do is I share my story, and my story does relate to them quite well, because I was actually just 11 or 12 when I decided to put my faith and trust in Jesus. So I share my story. In my story, tell them, when I was their age, I didn't know everything, but I just knew that I wanted God to be part of my life. And when I decided I wanted that, it was kind of like a seed was planted in my heart. It was just a seed. And in order for my faith to grow, I had to do things, for that seed of faith to grow and to really feel that God was helping me and Jesus was part of my life. I tell them what I did and how I went to Sunday school and how I went to camps and how I started praying more, and as I got older, reading my Bible, and went to youth group, and also began hanging out with other people who had faith in Jesus as well, and how my seed of faith grew into a real faith. And just like these seed pods, there's lots of seeds in these seed pods, but not all of them are going to grow into a real tree, or full tree. And but there will be some that will land on a good soil and grow into a tree. And so for me, this little ornament that I'm giving them is a reminder that faith is like a seed. And you might feel like you've got a bit of a seed planted in your heart. So when you ever look at this little ornament that I'm giving you, I just want it to remind you, this little heart is a symbol, that seed being planted into your heart because you want Jesus to be part of your life. And also a symbol of God's love for you. He loves you no matter what. He sent Jesus so that we could have a relationship with God. So I basically use my testimony as part of this little object lesson, and also I let them take this little seed pod home with them as a reminder. So I said, hang it on your tree or hang it somewhere in your room to remind you that faith is like a seed and that God loves you and wants to be part of your life. But you've got to want to have him in your life, and you've got to want your faith to grow. So that's why one of the main reasons I love giving a seed pod. I have been experimenting with other seeds. This is some of them that I've decorated. Also, I've been experimenting with jacaranda seed. And here's another jacaranda seed. So you might have a seed pod where you live that you could use as a little gift, as a reminder. Thanks for joining me for this little chat. My thoughts are just to encourage you to think about ways you can share your story with your classes, because your story is so powerful. And when you've spent a whole year teaching them, they're really much more open to hearing and listening about you. They're more interested because you've built relationship all year. So don't underestimate the power of your testimony and how you can relate that. You can relate it like I'm just doing it with this little gift or through other ways. But I just want to encourage you to take this idea and make it your own. I love it when people take one of the little ideas that I put up and make it suit their own classes and their own teaching situation. I know I don't want you to be prescriptive here on this channel. I'd like you to just make these ideas. I just want them to spur you into thinking, new things, creative things to help you with your classes. That's why I put up these little ideas. Hi there, guys. I'm just off to go and teach some of my final classes of the year, and I put the gum nuts in this little basket here, so at the end of the lesson the kids can choose one for themselves. I've also put some that are unfinished because I know some will want to take one home and decorate it for themselves. But thanks so much for just joining me for this little casual chat. I hope you found some of the ideas helpful and maybe inspiring you to how you can share your story. And if you liked it, can you give it a thumbs up? And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can just hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and you'll be notified whenever I put up a new clip. Anyway, I better get going, or I'm going to be late. See ya!